Voyage of the Damned is the sixth episode of the fifth season of Frasier. This is directed by Pamela Fryman, and as always, there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. I really like this one. We have a different location. I really love the location of the ship, and I'll talk about that in a moment. It actually starts at KCL. Ross tells Frasier that they can both get a free Alaskan cruise if Frasier agrees to give a brief lecture on the ship. And he ends up agreeing to this. We're back at the apartment, and we have what I consider to be one of the most beautiful, peaceful moments in Frasier that I would love to have been part of. Frasier is playing the piano. Daphne's wearing her dressing gown. She's all cozy, having a lazy day. The rain is pouring outside. And of course, Frasier has the large windows. And it's gorgeous. It's an absolutely beautiful moment. And Daphne feels like she's forgotten something, but she's not too concerned. And then Martin comes in, absolutely drenched. She kind of forgot to pick him up. Niles then comes in, returning a cookbook, because he was supposed to be making something for his anniversary with Maris, but Maris is going away instead. And Frasier suggests that Niles and Martin both go on the cruise with him and Roz, and they do, and the rest of the episode is set on the cruise, and it's a beautiful location. It starts off with Martin making boat noises, which is absolutely adorable. And Frasier is not exactly happy that the other performers on the ship are what he would consider to be not his caliber of celebrity. He refers to it as USS Has-Been. But honestly, I feel like that's a good thing for Frasier's ego. He is top billed. Granted, in his opinion, there's not a lot of competition for that top billing, but I feel like he would have been, in my opinion, I think he would have been happier about being top billing, and it would have helped his ego a little bit. We're in the bar area, and there's a character called Mimi, and she's actually apparently from the country club, and she immediately goes over to Niles, and she's all over him. And the next thing we know, the waiter, and I think this is really unpredictable. I did not see this coming. I absolutely love this. The waiter comes over, and he says that a woman bought Niles a drink, and he asks who, and the waiter says it's the woman over there in the black dress and the veil. And Niles stands up and says Maris, and the waiter throws the drink in Niles' face, obviously because Maris had bought it and tipped him quite handsomely to do this. And we find out that Frasier had actually invited her because he thought the cruise would be a good opportunity for everybody for Niles and Maris to connect and spend their anniversary together. It does surprise me that this cruise, am I surprised? I don't know. But it was a little surprising that the cruise had so many vacant rooms that they could invite Niles and Martin at the last minute and then invite Maris as well. I don't know what that says about this particular cruise and the quality of the experience. We end this scene with Niles getting another drink thrown in his face. Frasier and Roz are then working on his talk, and there are some funny things that they're going to say. I wish they'd shared a few more of the funny things, but it was nice to see them laughing and having a good time. Niles, however, isn't having a great time. He tried to talk with Maris, but he's very suspicious that she's going to do something with somebody to get back at him, and he pointed out in this moment that there is no trust on either side, which I think is a pretty big issue. And it might go some way to suggesting that their couples counselling isn't exactly going very well. Once Niles leaves, Martin comes back. He's not very happy either because the Alaskan feast he was supposed to be having didn't taste that great. And we find out that, and I didn't expect this either, very unpredictable episode, Martin had actually invited Maris as well, which I was very surprised at. But clearly, obviously he cares a lot about Niles and wanted the best for him. Frasier and Roz then decide to go and speak with Maris to try and get her to spend time with Niles. So they go to her room, and Frasier's annoyed because her room is huge. He did not get a very big room, and she's not there, but the cleaning person had just been in, so they let them in the room, of course, thinking it's their room. And they look in the bathroom and they hear who they believe is Maris coming into the room. So they hide in the shower because that seems logical. And then Martin comes in. It wasn't Maris, it was Martin, who also came to talk with her and then also wanted to use the bathroom. And they're all about to leave and they hear Maris coming in. And of course, they're hiding again. Roz is looking through the keyhole, and Maris is not alone. And I think it's fair to assume that this is Gato, and Maris is going to spend the night with him and get back at Niles, which is not what anybody wants. And then Niles comes into the bathroom, and I feel like this part of the episode, it just fell a little bit flat. On the one hand, yes, it's great that Niles and Maris are going to be having a night together. Niles is clearly very happy about this. But I feel like we needed something else, because immediately after that, we cut to the final scene where we have the Gato going into Mimi's room. Not too bad, didn't mind that at all. But I feel like something was missing. I feel like we needed one more scene, or that penultimate scene needed to be a little bit longer. It felt unfinished. But at the same time, everything else in the episode was great, and I don't know where we would have got that extra time from. So it is obviously a time constraint, but I felt like I wanted something just a little bit more at the end to wrap everything up. It felt a little bit unfinished, and either that could have been everybody sneaking out of the bathroom. I think that would have worked quite well, or Frasier giving his talk. Maybe that would have been, for me, a better final scene over the closing credits with Frasier. Obviously, we wouldn't hear anything. The final scene is always just with the theme tune as the outro, but just seeing Frasier giving his talk to a room with just a couple of people in it, as was alluded to previously, that would have felt more final. I think that would have been a better ending for me. Yes, I've decided. That's what I want. I want that final scene not to be Delgato going to Mimi's room, but Frasier giving his talk, probably laughing at his own jokes, to Rosalind Martin and a couple of other random people in an otherwise empty room. I think that would have felt more final. But other than that, it's a good episode, very unpredictable. I love the cruise. As a setting, I think it's a really beautiful set for this, and I don't know if it was filmed on a real cruise or if it was a rather elaborate set design. It seems like a lot of effort for one set for one episode, but I can't find anything else about that. So if anybody does know, I've never been on a cruise, so I can't even say if it is what a cruise would be like, but it feels like it. Definitely feels like it. Either way, Voyage of the Damned is a pretty decent episode, very unpredictable, and ultimately one that I really enjoyed.